everyone. Welcome to Trees Thursday night show tonight. We are Mothers of Soul and we are celebrating artistic moms. So welcome everybody. I am your host tonight, Jani Rose. If you guys don't know me, I am from the Rose Garden events and I am good pals with my friend Jose over at Trees. So thank you so much for inviting me to host this event. Those of you watching, make sure that you share the stream, let people know we're here. We have some amazing moms in the building. They're going to be sharing their beautiful poetry and they deserve to be heard. So make sure you share, let people know that we have this going on. So tonight, so those of you that don't know, Sunday is Mother's Day. And today we've curated 3 amazing writers to come and share some poetry. They are moms. We're going to hear some of their story, their experiences being moms and being creatives because it's not easy. And we're going to share some poetry too. So I'm really, really excited. Let me get my notes out. Okay. So I'm going to warm it up by sharing a piece that I wrote a long time ago. It was for a baby shower, and I wrote a special piece for the mom, and I performed it there, and it's titled Garden Mother. Let me pull it up, and I'll share it with you guys, and then we'll bring in our guests. We got to warm up the mic a little bit. Garden Mother, thank you for honoring the privilege you bear within you. You're a gift that never stops giving. Your strength and resilience will be the solid ground I shall sprout from. Oh, Garden Mother, the time to be held in your arms is almost near, and when our hearts align, your love will continue to nourish me. The magic in your love stems deep into the root of our family. Its uniqueness will set me apart from all the flowers in this garden. I will strive to make you proud every day, Garden Mother. You are a warrior of life. Your heroism is my shelter, protecting me through any storm. You are the shepherd to my serenity. There's peace within your fight, oh Garden Mother. Even when time has no mercy, you exchange sleep for late night feedings as I begin to bud. You sacrifice your sanity as I venture outside our garden once I blossom, Garden Mother. Your love has no boundaries. It's ever flowing like summer rain on my petals, and I will grow towards you because your love is my light. Garden Mother, share with me your verses of victories and defeats. Let your voice be my sanctuary and may it ring through my vines. Thank you, Garden Mother, for all your glory. And I hope that one day I blossom into the queen of the garden just like you. That's my piece. Ooh, all right. Now we got the mom vibes going. We all warmed up. The mic is warm. Let's invite our guests. We have with us tonight, we have Mary Coffee Payne. We have Jani Rose. And we have Tina Marie Dominguez. Welcome, ladies. Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. How are you? Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Hey, Jani, how you doing, girl? How are you? I know Tina was here. Maybe I don't know. You know how Wi-Fi is. Like we're all at the mercy of Wi-Fi. You can't hear me? Can you hear me,
I
Mary?
can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
All right. If you have trouble with the sound, you may want to try to come out of the studio and come back in, because sometimes. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me, Tina?
Yeah, now I can.
I can hear you still.
Yeah? All right. Jani, maybe you need to come out of the studio and come back in. Give it a shot. But welcome, ladies. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. Some of you I know, and some of you I'm meeting for the first time here in this stream. So I'm really excited to kind of pick your brains, pick your mom brains, because I'm a mom too. And, we have to stick together, ladies. We got to put each other on to the secrets and what works for us. Because I feel like it's a forever learning thing, like every stage that your child reaches is like a whole new stage for you as a mom. So I'm glad that there are moms here that have been moms, new moms, moms that are veteran moms, moms that are about to be grandmoms. So, you know, there's a lot of experience in here. It's a lot of knowledge. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm going to ask you guys, first question is, I want to know how many kids you guys got. How many kids and how old are the kids?
I have 2 adult children, or adult.
Adults.
Still call them children. You can't get out of that.
Listen, those are your babies, okay, Mary? Don't let it twist it, okay? They are still your babies.
I have a daughter that's 23 and a son that is 30.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you are about to be a grandma?
Yes, I am.
Congratulations. And this is
So
your first
excited.
grandchild, right?
My first grandchild.
Oh my gosh, that baby is gonna be so spoiled.
Definitely.
We're gonna talk a little bit more about this later on when we get to know you a little, dig a little deeper into you. I have a special question for you, Mary.
Oh.
But Tina, how many kids do you have?
I have 3.
3 kids. How old are they?
My oldest is 8. My middle child is 6, and I have an almost 2-year-old.
Oh wow! So they're all pretty young.
Yeah.
Now, because they're so close in age, do they fight a lot?
The ones that are close, like my 2 first kids were only 23 months apart, and they're kind of like, they fight a little, but they're very close. Like they do
that's
everything
nice.
together to hold each other's hands. It's really cute. But the little one is like, he just like came out of left field and he like threw everything off and he's like destroying everything and he fights with them more than anything.
Oh my, he has to. He probably feels like he has to like stand up to his 2 older siblings, you know?
Yeah, he's a bully.
The little ones are usually the bullies, trust me. Johnny, how about you? How many kids do you have?
I have 4 that I gave birth to, and I have this lovely little boy that's part of our lives. So I have 5.
Yes. So you have a whole squad.
I do. I have a whole squad.
Now, do you feel like that? How old are the kids? What are the ages?
25, 19, 14 and 14, and 8.
Oh wow! Also, your kids are pretty grown.
Yes.
So, you know,
they're
kind of like on their own, right? They're what?
Well, yeah, they're about 5, 6 years old apart. All of them, the whole group. Yeah, the 25-year-old is in college, just grown, living in Parkchester, and then my 19-year-old is like in Florida visiting the girlfriend's family. So that's really, so yeah.
Oh my God, I'm not ready for that. How are you able to handle like your oldest one like going away to college and how are you able to deal with that?
Well, thankfully, he didn't go away. He goes to John Jay.
Oh, so he's still local. Oh,
yeah, he went to John Jay. He's
That's
living in Parkchester, which is right near me. I live on Castle.
Yeah. So how about like with your other one that's visiting? Like, how was that? How did you feel with like?
That was the first time, and I was like, "Oh my God, you're really grown! Like you have a job. They have a job." So the bank account is looking like a grown-up bank account a little bit. It was like, I need to go visit the family. I was like, oh my God, this is exciting. and the girlfriend is the crush from when they were 17 years old.
Oh my gosh.
The family. So yeah, good stuff. Good things.
That's a good.
Oh, beautiful baby.
Hi, baby.
No.
Hi, puppy.
Oh.
I know my son is gonna start peeking in soon. He's like that. So I want to get into this one question before we go into some more performances and dig a little deeper into you wonderful ladies. But I want to ask all of you, how has, because being a creative is one thing, right? And then being a mom is a whole different dynamic. So how has being a mother influenced and impacted you as a writer?
That's a heavy question. I guess I'll go. When I I started writing when I was 7 years old, and
Oh wow.
the first time I performed at the New Eurekan was in 1993. I was 17.
Oh my God. Dances?
Gosh, gracias. So then as a mom, I was a stay-at-home mom. I was a homemaker for over a decade. I wanted to take care of the kids, and because the traumas that I'd experienced, I didn't want babysitters, and I didn't want to be a burden on my family. And when you have 4 kids, nobody's taking care of your kids for free.
Yeah. People like, oh no.
Child care, like you might as well not even be. Your whole check is the child care, right?
Yeah.
So I was just staying at home and doing my little things. Did a Mary Kay, I did bridal makeup on the weekends. But when I decided that it was time for me to start preparing myself to get back into who I am, the poetry came naturally, and it became my other life, my other self, and it became. I was part of a group when I was like, I'm more than a mom. I'm more than a mom. People constantly shamed me. Just a mom. What else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
This mom thing. I think it's not the most, like, you're a portal to life, but they treat it like it's a mundane whatever experience.
Yeah.
So being a poet definitely gave me an independent voice that I desperately needed, because
Yes.
mom, it can be really difficult. So
Yeah, it can definitely mute you. Yeah, for sure. For sure. How about you ladies? How has being a mother impacted your writing?
Well, I will start. The poem "Without My Mother" is a poem that I would say impacted me from my kids. I wrote that poem at a time when I was my kids were in their late teens, young adults, I would say, and when they were 2 and 7, I was diagnosed with cancer.
Oh wow.
And this poem is a really special poem to me. It was a poem, it was the beginning of my poems. For many years, I didn't write, and I forgot all about writing until I wrote that poem. And then I began writing ever since then. And that poem was written in 2015.
Wow.
And ever since I wrote that poem, I kept writing.
So you had been writing for when you were a kid, and then you stopped, and it was only 5 years ago that you started writing.
Yes.
Amazing. I'm gonna dig into that a little bit more too. I have a question for you as well for that.
Thank you.
Tina, how about you? How has being a mom impacted your writing?
In every way. Yeah, right. When I was younger, and then I started doing shows. I started like doing open mics at the New York and stuff, like, and then I got pregnant when I was 24 and gave birth when I was 25. And it's like you get distracted, or like you have to work to survive, and you don't have time. Like I always wrote, but
Yeah.
I remember I came across one of my friends hosted a workshop, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take care of myself and go and do this. And I went to that workshop, and it changed everything. Being featured and going and actually like doing it, and trust, and like letting go of the mom guilt, and like letting kids stay home with their dad and going out, it's a lot of guilt, a lot of it. Yeah,
it is that mom guilt will drive you into depression. That mom guilt will stifle your your voice and your dreams, because you constantly feel guilty for like actually wanting to be happy and not, and it not having to be directly connected to your children, like, so that's great. I love that you were able to get through that. I'm going to get into we'll get into Mary first. And so Mary Coffee Payne is the author of Coffee, Tea, Sugar, and Poems. And it is her first book.
Yes.
And as you heard, she started writing more seriously only 5 or 6 years ago. So, and you mentioned, I was going to ask you what was it that made you take it seriously, but you answered it. It was that poem that you wrote.
Yes.
You saw, you were like, whoa, I'm actually good at this. I should keep doing this.
Yes.
So I really, you answered that question. But what I do want to know now that you're about to be your grandma, because this is something I've always wondered, right? Now that you're about to be a grandma for the first time, how do you see yourself um, giving a different kind of love to your grandchild? Because I swear by it. I feel like my parents love my kids more than they love me, right? Because those kids are so spoiled. Like all the things I used to ask for when I was a kid, I got the no. What do you got McDonald's money? No, 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 no. But now, oh my gosh, all my son has to say is I want McDonald's, and there's a Happy Meal on the way. So, do you see yourself being that grandma?
Yes, I see myself being that grandma. Spoiling him, spoiling him, spoiling him. Yes, yes, definitely. That is a tough question, but I will definitely do that.
Yes.
Wouldn't care about anything. Give them whatever they want. Go over the parents' heads.
I know that you're excited about it.
Definitely.
Now, about your book, Coffee, Tea, Sugar, and Poems, just so that people can have an idea, when you decided to write this book, and you made the decision that you actually wanted to publish yourself, right? Because I've been writing for over 20 years, and being published isn't really like a it's a goal, but it's not something that I'm like zoned in on. So for you to start writing recently and now go from like, let me go back into writing, I want to get published, right? What is when people read your book, what is it that you want them to walk away with after reading your book?
Thank you for that question. I would say I just hope that people, there's a lot going on in the world, and especially today. And I just hope that people would walk away with some type of joy, hope. I hope people's spirits are lifted. I just hope that people are just have more love for each other, more love and
Okay.
compassion.
Okay. Is there a poem in the book that you feel is the most connected to your story?
Can I, your, my story in general, my life, or
Yeah, like which poem do you feel resonates the most with who you are or what you've been through?
okay, in my life?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I wrote a poem in there. There's a poem in there called "I Am Coffee." Um, it's just some characteristics about myself, and I've used coffee metaphors in
Oh,
that poem. So I would say that a few of the poems resonate with my life. The Fight and Without My Mother. So that is definitely a couple of poems that I would say that would do that.
beautiful. Sorry, but I don't know what was going on with my audio.
Okay.
Do you have some poetry that you are going to share with us? I know you.
Oh, would you like me to, which one? Any particular?
Whatever you want. We're
Okay.
celebrating artistic moms, and so this is your time to shine, mom. Okay.
Okay. Well, since Mother's Day is around the corner, I will do Without My Mother. I can
Okay.
put it here. Without my mother, what would I have done? My life, my world would be upside down, walking in zigzags constantly, twists and turns repeatedly, my mind in a whirlwind of confusion, a question of why over my head, a seed of self doubt planted inside, many mishaps foreseen, undeniably swimming in self pity. Scenes in my life unpredictable, dreams and successes overturned. Forever wishing I had her in my life, having known her, still happy to be born of her. to have been comforted in her arms, felt her kisses on my cheeks, and felt her love somehow. To know that she once held me is an uplifting epiphany. I could use her support. Without her being here, it surely hurts. To have her guide me, lead me, nurture me, to keep me safe from harm. She could help me through so many storms. Without my mother, there isn't much hope, but somehow I must learn to cope. To have known my mother, to have had her in my life would not have been the same without her. Through her gentle eyes, she's seen her child growing up. Her lips are filled with sweetness and firmness when needed as she speaks. Her ears are to hear every cry and call for help. Her heart is filled with love and support. Her arms are full of comfort and strength. Her head is full of wisdom as she teaches, leads, and guides. Her emotions are to give and give. My pathways are straight. My mind is clear and confident. My world is filled with joy and happiness. I am smothered in self fulfillment. I am sure and stable. I am thankful to have had my mother in my life, to have had her love. What would I have done without my mother? She has turned me into this beautiful woman I have become. My mother forever in my heart. Thank you and happy Mother's Day to everyone.
Aww. Yay! That was beautiful. Aw, that was so heartwarming.
Thank you.
Now, that piece, this is a piece that was the game changer for you.
Yes.
And now, what was it about this piece that made you realize that you can be a published author?
Well, I would say that I had so much. At the time that I wrote this poem was in 2015. I had went back to college. Well, I went to college to get my bachelor's degree. I went to college as an adult, and
Yes, good for
so
you.
thank you. And I took a creative process class, and you had to do a creative piece. And I kept saying, I'm not creative. I don't know what to do. But it all came back eventually to my mind where when I was younger, I wrote and I loved to write and I wanted to be a writer when I grew up. But somehow that I lost it along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow when I wrote that, I had to write, I ended up writing the poem and everyone loved it and encouraged me to continue to write, to never stop writing. The professor told me, I want you to continue writing, Mary. This is really good. And I said, okay, I won't. So I've been writing ever since, here and there.
Amazing, amazing. Now, do you mind sharing another piece with us?
Okay.
I asked with a smile.
I told you my experience with cancer.
Yes.
And this is a poem. This is a part of my life. You said something. This is called The Fight. I was dazed by the first punch. It snuck up on me. I had no hunch. I staggered. My mind took a spin. I really had to call my next of kin. The next punch, I was backed into a corner. By then, I started to fight back and was determined to win. On the verge of being knocked out, I had no time to pout. Fighting this fight, me and the big C, I must fight this battle religiously. The news had been horrendous. The will to live is tremendous. The hits were forceful, detrimental, and overpowering. Its aim was to kill. Yet I remain here still. Standing in the ring, my eyes began to blur, but my faith inside me began to stir. I fought my way off the rope. I don't know how I was able to cope. I remained strong after that ordeal. Now it's time to heal. Decisions to make had been no piece of cake. I won that fight with all my might. Thank you.
Hi.
Yes. Snap your fingers. Yes, snap your fingers. All right.
So cute.
This is my son, Phoenix. Say hello,
Hello,
Phoenix.
It's cute.
He likes to make funny faces. Mary, that was beautiful
Thank
and very
you.
inspiring. I'm so happy that you are here with us and you've been able to fight and be a warrior and a survivor. That's actually it's like a tragedy, but there's like still beauty in it because you still found strength.
Yes, thank
And
you.
so I commend you for that, and thank you for sharing that part of your life
Thank
with
you.
us. Yeah, thank you so much. Give it up for Mary, guys. Let's hear it in the comments. Put it in the comments. Let us know. Tell us how you feel. All right. So I'm gonna we're gonna dig a little deeper to another one of our guests who is also here. We just heard from Mary Coffee Payne, and now I'm going to bring up to the stage our friend of my distant. I met her years ago, like one time in person, and we still are connected through social media. So I think that's a beautiful thing. So please welcome Jani Rose, who is a curator, activist, and educator, born in Harlem, raised in the Bronx, BX. She is a member of the Copy Coop culture. She's a published author. And as we just heard, she is a mom of 5 now, right? We just added one to the roster, okay? So let's welcome Jani Rose.
Thank
Yay!
you.
Peace,
Thank
Queen.
you.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here with you and spend time and enjoy your work. Thank you, Mary. That was phenomenal. And you're an
Thank you.
inspiration. God bless you.
Thank
We
you.
are so blessed to have you with us.
Yes, sweetheart. Thank you
Yes.
so much. Thank you.
That is so true. So you mentioned
And
earlier.
you're amazing and you're beautiful. And Tina, you're beautiful and wonderful. Yeah, so I'm really blessed. Thank you for Solar Tree
I know. Shout
yeah,
out
I'm
to
really grateful that
Jose.
you were invited to spend time for Mother's Day. This is lovely.
Yes, he is the bomb.com. So you mentioned earlier, Johnny, that you started writing at the age of 7.
Yeah.
And I have a 6-year-old that is very exposed to this poetry world because he sits during my virtual open mics and he hears poetry all the time. So like you at 7 years old, like what were you writing about at 7 years old?
So the first poem that I used to have these 2 little books of Christian poems that I carried around in my little white Easter pocketbook, my little plastic favor pocketbook.
I like know the pocketbook you're talking about. I feel like we
With a
all
little
have one.
snap on it. Right? So I had these 2 little books of poems, and one of them was called Day by Day. And my first grade teacher, she had us write poems. So I wrote a poem called Day by Day, and it was day by day the sun rises. Day by day I go to school. Day by day I eat my breakfast. Every day is day by day for me.
First of all, I am like so happy that you remember that poem. Like that made my night.
It's the only one I remember. I don't memorize anything.
I did not expect you to know it. That is amazing. You just made my night, Johnny. Thank you. But what I do also want to dig into now. You mentioned that you gave birth to 4 children. Now you recently have a 5th child that joined your family, and so now that you are like party of 5, right, plus the parents. How are you balancing having a big family and still being able to dive into your art? Teach me.
They're so supportive. They're so beautiful. And
Oh,
and
good.
most of them are big. You know, the little guy is 8, which is pretty big too. My kids are 25, 19, 14, 14,
Yeah.
and the bonus baby's 8. So
Bonus
they're
baby.
all pretty big.
Wait, so you have twins? So you had twins?
Yeah.
Girl, I thought that the bonus child was the 14.
No,
You had
no. Yeah.
What was that like when you had
incredible.
You had 2 kids already and then you find out you're pregnant and you just went from 2 to 4 real quick?
Blew my mind. It blew my mind. We have no twins in our family. I didn't know until the 20-week sonogram so I didn't know because my doctor was, because it was planned, so they didn't have to guess the gestational
Yeah, yeah.
So they would just check and say, oh, your numbers are good, everything's great. And then at the 20-week appointment, I saw these 2 babies on the screen, and I was like, what's that?
Oh, yo, you're like halfway through this pregnancy.
And
Oh
I said, is this a split screen? Like, technology is amazing. Are we looking at the baby from 2 different angles? What's happening here?
I'm crying.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I had like 3 or 4 people in the sonogram. They all sat down and were like, oh my God. It was
Oh my God. So okay, so so now let's backtrack, okay? So before we got the plus one that came into the family, how was it dealing with having 2 kids, having twins, and then you still are responsible for curating events, writing poetry, you know, hosting, featuring? How were you able to handle that?
It was crazy because when I really got into the scene again, my twins were 2 years old.
Oh my God, girl. No wonder you were like, I gotta get the fuck out of this house.
Yeah, that was part of it. That was part of it. That's what I was saying. I was like, I need something that belongs to just me. Like,
Yes.
I need to go breathe. And so I started doing the acentos workshops. And I have a friend named Santiago that's an incredible artist. And he was like, girl, people need to read these poems. So I went to a Capicu event. And from there, you know, I started facilitating workshops and curating and organizing, like, within the first 2, you know, everybody thought that I was just like this poet that they had never seen before. They didn't realize that I was brand new. And I kept quiet. I was like, sure, yeah, I'll feature. I was like brand spanking new.
She's like, yes, like, joke's on you.
I was like, okay.
But that speaks volumes of your poetry. That speaks volumes of your skill, because for you to kind of start stepping into the scene, and you're immediately getting featured and people immediately want you to like facilitate workshops for them, like, that speaks volumes about your talent.
It was surreal. It was amazing, and it was such a blessing. And it really did let me know that I was in the right place doing what I was supposed to be doing. And it has been the greatest blessing. I feel like it's created so much healing in my life. It's allowed me to raise my children in an environment where they were very seen and heard, because I was amongst activists that were teaching me things that maybe I always knew but didn't know how to put into practice.
Yes.
It's been the biggest blessing in my life that I was able to return to creative. I always say it's, you know, it's creative activities and stuff like that. So it's a means for survival in a world where we're going through it. We're getting hit all the time. So.
I know, from every angle. Do you ever, even like when your children were smaller, I mean, I don't know, maybe now, like if there's a time, either later or now, I mean earlier or now, where you actually involve your children in your events or your poetry or your activity, did they ever get involved?
A little bit. We performed at the New Eurekan together. Yeah, one of my my 19-year-old, he plays guitar, and they were invited to the New Eurekan. My kids were invited to the New Eurekan to sing, so I did rock out with them a little bit there. But otherwise, no, they don't really get involved. They play guitar and bass and drums and a few different, but they don't. I don't know. They don't like the spotlight, I feel.
Because maybe because they see you do it, they're like, that's not for me.
They
sure. But they're still young. They're still young. You never know. You know, like we see Mary, who was just up here. Like, she just started writing and found her voice. So you know, it's never too late or too soon to kind of step into creativity. So you never know. You planted the seeds with what you do and what you've been doing. So who knows what we'll reap from that, you know, 10, 15 years from now. So you got some poetry for us?
I do. So one of these is old. I wrote it in 2009, and it was one of the first poems that I came to the scene with.
Ooh, showstopper.
It was something that I was like, well, what do I know? What do I know about? And it's kind of like the vibe that my family had, because my family was a big party throwing family. So it's called La Fiesta.
Yeah.
La Fiesta. Bongos y guiros, congas pang pang, the beat in my chest, vibrating through abuela's floor up into my feet. The sounds of family becoming me, pounding like nails into the foundation, the structure of my being. Our heartbeat and feet connected. Shuffle, shuffle, swirl. Our pretty skirts swish and sway. We spin, watching the fabric layers undulate, feeling every bit the princesses that we were. Step, step, wepa! Soft, fluffy, oily, salted rice. The aromas of pernil and pollo fill the air. We gobble aceitunas out of the jar. Wepa! Titi wails from the sala. My little cousins shake their shoulders as they drop it like it's hot, PR style. Pristine guayaberas ripple as the viejitos spin their ladies. I'm still too young to relate these people with youth, to wonder who they had been in their heyday. The pungent smells of cigarettes, Palo Viejo, Coquito, Bacardi, and Coors Light cling to the tips of yellowed gray stashes, wet beer kisses for little boo, warm, scrapey sandpaper cheeks. The projects are gray, the trees are bare, the handball court empty. Nobody on the benches. Ven a comer tocino. Yes, I turn from the window and run to the kitchen. Crunchy, crunchy, salty, chewy. I spoke at only being allowed to eat a few little pieces. It's a treat that teases. A few freestyle songs and beats so the kids could get down a little. Previews of our club moves. Dancing with abuela. Exhaustion takes over. The kids droop, leaving the grown-ups to their own worlds. Abuela's bed is covered in coats. Climbing the mountain, they shift and slip. At the top, three little cousins snore softly, drooling, arms and feet tangled, listening drowsily on top of the pile, the sense of my family, the leather, the cigarette, the perfume. Y se acabó. Ya se acabó la fiesta.
Yes. I wish I could snap with my left hand louder, but girl, you took me back. I felt like I was there. Like I miss those family parties. Like they don't do that no more, man.
Not like they used to. We had my grandmother lived in Wagner Project. She lives in Wagner Project since 1953. Same thing. She's right there.
Yes.
And she had a 3-bedroom and it was huge. So there was a band in the living room. A whole band. And her boyfriend used to be like, Yo soy el gallo. With a mic, and they would send the cops sometimes to shut it down, and the cops would come and she would give them moro and pernil, and the cop would be there eating and dancing and
having a good time.
It was a good time.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And it looks like your upbringing and your family had a lot of influence in your writing. I could definitely hear it in that piece a lot. That's beautiful. That was beautiful. I love it. Now you got me hungry too. Like, would you mind sharing another piece with us?
Surely. This is a new poem.
New shit.
I wrote this for an event that I recently did. And I want to say the name of the organization, man, because I want to give them love, but I can't remember the name right now. But I'll post it afterwards. But it's for Autism Awareness Month. We wanted to highlight and give love and support families and create awareness. So this poem is called "Mother Is Because You Are." When they put you in my arms, it was astounding to me that everything that had ever happened in the history of the world, of the universe, had led to this moment. The stars had aligned just so, and everything that everyone had ever done had led to a series of events that would culminate in the vastness of the cosmos staring into my eyes. and locking into my soul. Through the smallest baby I had ever held, soft, warm, solid, strong in my arms, with a presence larger than anything I had ever felt in my 19 years on this earth.
Mm.
And it was in that moment I knew that I would do everything I possibly could to keep you safe, to open your heart, fill it with joy, love, hope, wisdom, and everything you would ever need to be everything you could ever be. For you, I would do anything. As your mama, I would drag myself from my bed to feed you while my mind spun deliriously, half dreaming, and read you stories to ease your cry for satisfaction. Searching every shred of innovative facets in my mind, heart, and spirit, I prayed for the answer to your need. Feed it, change it, love it. What else? Oh, just everything. I
Mm.
mean, if I couldn't do this right, how could I do any of it? How could I fight dragons and monsters if I didn't sleep? How could I lift my machete high for my bundle, light in cosmos and ether, this blessed seedling of stardust made human, given to my care by creator and plan, thought and action, everything I had ever said and done became irrelevant. I would become whatever I was to become because I had a son. A mother is the whole world to the child. So
Mm.
I would climb the mountains searching for wisdom, traverse the desert seeking answers, marathon sleepless nights, lost searching for the answers that would be the solutions, that would be the foundation, the structure, the scaffolding for the kingdom that I would build for my child. Because mother is mama, mommy, womb, love, sister, abuela, tia, dedication, teacher, friend, support, sentinel, guide, source. Mother is all these things and so much more. And you, dear child, are the reason.
Mm. Oh, that was beautiful. Oh my gosh, Johnny. Oh, have you read that to your children?
No, I haven't. I
You
haven't yet. I
should.
haven't yet. They'll hear it here. I'll put it on for them.
They'll hear it here. That was beautiful. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Johnny. Give it up one more time, guys. Let us know in the comments. Give us some claps. Let them know that show Jani Rose some love.
Beautiful,
Yes. Thank
beautiful.
you.
I
Really
appreciate
enjoyed
you.
that.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Thank you. I
Thank you for
appreciate you.
that. All right, let's keep
Love it.
it going. We have one more amazing mom to bring up here and get to know a little bit more. Thank you, Jani Rose. Thank you, Mary, for hanging out
Thank you.
and being the guest here. But I would like to bring up our next super mom, Miss Tina Marie Dominguez, born in Miami, based in Queens, New York, and she has been published in multiple anthologies. So she is a published author, y'all. Please give it up for Tina Marie Dominguez. Hi. How are you, sweetheart?
Good.
Somebody came and got the little one, right?
Yes. I was like, he can stay. And then he's like trying to breastfeed. I was like, no.
You're like, no, you can. It's not dinner time, okay,
We're not
sweetheart.
going to live stream.
And that's the little one, the
Yeah.
2-year-old.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
almost 2. He's a
oh.
bubble baby.
Is he?
This
So you
pandemic.
have 3, right? You have 3 children.
Yeah.
Are they all boys, girls?
I
A
have
mix.
2 boys. The oldest is a boy. The youngest is a boy. And then the middle child is my daughter.
Oh wow. So, um, so which one is more of mama's boy? Are they both mama's boys, or is the little one the mama's boy?
They both are. The little one just started getting really attached to me out of nowhere. I'm like, what's going on? The older one has always been like oddly independent. Like I would look for him in my house when he was a baby, and he'd just be like chilling in his room.
Yeah. Aw, that's really, really sweet. I want to ask you, being that you're out of everybody here, you have the smallest children. So, right now they kind of see a little bit of what you do, but they may not fully like understand what poetry is or about what being a writer means, So as they are growing and you showing them more of your passion and your art, like what do you want your children to learn from your poetry and your art?
I think to me the most important thing in any type of writing is and like especially spoken word is like the like we're bringing our old traditions forward in this way. Like in the past, it was the art of storytelling, and that's how we passed on our traditions. That's how we told our stories. And I think it's important for them to learn who they are through me, I guess, or through art in general. Um, and especially like that's how your tradition is, like even down to like the Taino, they were in the caves telling stories. They had no written language really, and that's you know. Oh,
Yeah, it was
I
always spoken.
yeah, I did a show and it was the only one I've ever brought my kids to. Had no choice. And after I spoke, I know, I spoke about my grandma, and afterwards my son was like, I didn't know any of that. That was really interesting, and it was cute because I hadn't realized he was even listening. So,
Oh my gosh. Do you ever catch like the older one like trying to do what you do?
he wrote a poem for school this year, and I posted it on my Instagram, and I started crying. It was so simple. It was just like about fall, but I was like,
Now, how do you, as a mom with the little kids, how do you encourage them to like pursue their creative passions?
um, my son is more of like a science math guy, but I always tell my kids like they can do and be anything they want in the whole world. Like there's no limit. So like my
Yeah.
daughter loves painting. I got her all the paints and all the things. Like you're sick of it or you want to do it anymore, but
Yes. Yes. So you try to like feel, I think that's so important because a lot of times, we see our children are interested in certain things and we kind of like leave it to them to explore, and we don't really take a lot of time to like give them tools and resources to explore that interest a little further.
yeah, I think it's harder too in certain communities to do things. Like my daughter is into dancing, and I looked up dance classes, and they're $600 a month.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah, so it's like sometimes I feel really bad that I can't facilitate things for them the way I'd like to. So I'm like, you can learn anything yourself. Self education is very important. And I'll be like,
Yeah,
watch a YouTube
yeah.
video
Well,
about dancing.
yeah, well, that's what I was gonna ask. So how do you like navigate around, because that's a problem in a lot of neighborhoods, right? That those creative arts things that's outside of the public school system, outside of what they're getting in school, is so expensive. So do you like take them to university YouTube and
Yeah, it's all YouTube. My son wanted to do chess, and luckily his school had a team because I put him in a charter school, and luckily they had a chess team. Then they got rid of it, and it's like every time we take a step forward, they pull us back. So I'm like,
yeah.
here's an app that you can play chess on. Here's a chessboard, play with your dad. And we got to do it how we have to do it. But
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's great that you find innovative ways that, save your pockets, but also, feed those passions in your children. Um, we got Johnny in the private chat talking about not being able to provide traditional outlets for kids is difficult, institutional. Yeah, our communities really don't there's a lot of communities that don't invest in our children and they expect the parents to do it, and it's hard for us, right? Because I'm sure you're working mom, you paint, trying to like hold it down and raise your kids and write and make your path as a writer. So it's great that you're finding those other ways to get around those challenges and those hurdles. Do you have some poetry to share with us tonight, Tina?
I do.
Yeah.
Do my best. My first My first piece is published. The rough draft of it is published in a book called Payne. I think you can find it on Amazon. Anyway, so I'm gonna do that. It's about my daughter. I walk through mommy's threshold, ready for the usual barrage of "Ay, mija, ¿qué tiene puesto?" Instead, I'm met with "Ay, mija, why don't you ever comb this poor girl's hair? No tiene justo, me odio verla así." I look down at my 3-year-old's perfectly coiffed curls, ringlets I finger comb delicately, adding just the right proportion of shea leave-in, coconut oil, hope. She bears a light halo of frizz because curls, like life, nunca son perfecto. I remember spending hours under dryer, salon talk about pelo malo, pelo bueno, how what I had was good. It was easily manipulated, easily made into a more respectable form. My mother in the corner, Puerto Rican, proud, stern, Eurocentric features, willing my hair to match her own, despite all my father's Afro-Dominicano painted onto my pallor and coursing through my curls. Silky, smooth. Look at how they so feared us. They left the fire of colonialism in our blood. See how they still try to tame all the parts of us. See how they still try to burn all the parts of us they cannot tame. Wonder at how angry they must be. You so untouched by the magic of melanin, but still so full of amnesic ancestor. Mejorando la raza, pero raza más fuerte, brilla clara. Nena de pelo boricua, nena quisqueyana, piden que se cármate, compórtate, cállate ya. But my whole life was straightening, my back, my tongue, my attitude, so that fingers could easily run through, so that wind had no barrier and warmth became the enemy. Be more likable, less loud, easily morphed, easily tied. Oveja negra, straighten up, let them shear those coils. You might be more presentable underneath. My daughter tried to brush her hair today. I watched as she learned some messes are meant unkempt. Some things are beautiful in chaos. Convoluted coils hide mysteries meant to remain as such. Slowly, I worked the starch out of her pajon, gently, so she would know que no tiene que doler parecer a tu madre. It doesn't have to hurt to resemble your mother.
My mic was muted. Oh my gosh. That was beautiful. And I've been through that hair thing, girl. Like, was this something where, I don't know about you, my experience was that my mom didn't really know how to manage hair like mine, right?
Yes.
um so when I was young, my mother used to relax my hair all the time with chemicals. So I didn't know that my hair was naturally curly till I was about 12 years old. And my cousin was washed my hair for me. She had a hair salon, and she was like, "You want to leave it like this?" And I was like, "It stays like this?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "What?" So I've gone on this journey my entire, even now, adult life, like learning how to love my hair and like appreciate it, because no one there, I didn't have a matriarch, I didn't have a woman in my life to like show me how to love and embrace myself.
Yeah.
Is that a conversation that you have with your daughter like now?
Absolutely. My mom has like super silk straight hair, and I just remember like brushes getting stuck in my hair, or like it hurting when she would comb it, or like once I didn't want her to brush it anymore, so I told her I would, and then I had like a giant dreadlock in my hair.
Yeah, like that one knot in the back of your head.
Yes, I just used to comb the front and then pin up the back, and that was it. So that was
Oh my god,
I just didn't
I've
want
been
her to
there.
hair, and then my sister had to like chip it out of my hair.
Oh.
But yeah, my daughter has her curls are even kinkier than mine, and I think it's really important for her to embrace it. It's super hard sometimes because I tell her it's beautiful, you love your hair, and she's like, I want straight hair. JoJo has straight hair.
I was like that too. I wanted that like pin straight, blanquita hair.
I think it's all good because it's what we're shown, and I love now.
Yeah.
More like natural hair is a thing,
Yeah. And it's not just what we're shown. Like for me, in my experience, it was just like my mother would be like, "You gonna brush your hair?" And I'd be like, "I did." Like, what the
Yeah,
What
my
you
dad,
mean?
like my dad is Afro Dominicano. He had an afro growing up, and then every time I come over, he's like, "Ooh, what happened to your hair?" I'm like, "Your genes."
I'm done. What happened to my hair? You, dad? My dad, he's Puerto Rican, but he's like, Afro Latino too. So like he always had this big afro. His hair is mad kinky and tight curls. And I have my father's hair, not my mom. My mom has like that straight silky
Yeah,
hair like yours. Do you have another piece to share with us before we
I
wrap
do.
up tonight?
I do. This one is new. It's on La Libreta online. It's a new online poetry journal by Peggy Robles Alvarado, who I love so much. Um, so I wrote this in her workshop. If birth be a border, this line of division, of provision, a life where solo hustle fed and homed to and for myself, selfish girl to self-sacrificing woman. You come from the space between spaces where a scalpel, a tide, a world, a wall parted a galaxy into a new universe. You are from everything, stars and chaos and cosmos and divinity. You are of earth and stone and dirt and bones. They have broken us from ourselves. Mejor somos, ¿no? Nosotros que llegaron al otro lado, de la manera correcta, en lenguas de canoa. Si hubiera una forma correcta de sobrevivir. My grandmother's tongue, a raft between the sky and Cabo Rojo. Your father, a stay you never swallowed. Los Estados Unidos, a risk he could maneuver. Your 3-year-old eyes, a last memory. Your look, a lasting decree. Don't come for me, I'm destined to leave. No me persigues, quiero que me olvides. Dos hijos enviaron a una vida mejor, pero la enfermedad no sabe nada de oportunidad y todo de llevar. Otra vez te van a dejar. These walls, these oceans, these papers, build a mountain, carve a valley, lloramos a stream, flourish. Brick by brick, we assemble a home of all the places come from, of all the lands forbidden now. We've a family of our stories, of my abuelo Leoncio, of your abuela Marta, of my bisabuela and her dozen, de mi abuela Milagro, the miraculous, and her 7. We are a tapestry, a testament, a promise, the scar on the bridge between worlds. Somos el futuro. Un inmigrante enamorado con la nieta, un inmigrante poderoso. No vamos a florecer. Vamos a hacer de este mundo un jardín, you can see for miles, o una finca que sostiene la vida de nuestro futuro. Y con amor o odio van a ver todos los colores de nuestro planeta en el mismo sitio, libre de fronteras.
It's the Spanish for me, girl. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
I love it. I don't know why. I don't ever really incorporate too much Spanish into my pieces. I dabble, but it really inspired me to like dig in and get some more like, linguistic on that.
It's hard because I wanted to submit to a lot of places and they say English only. And it's like,
Mm.
okay, so I can't submit anything.
Oh, what? That's crazy.
Yeah,
That is
it's like,
crazy.
why?
Yeah. People speak widely spoken language. Thank you so much, Tina. Thank you so much for
Thank you for
sharing.
having me.
Where are my there you go, ladies.
Beautiful,
How are
beautiful.
y'all? Welcome back. Donnie, unmute. There you go, mommy. Oh man. Welcome back, ladies. That was wonderful. I just want to thank you guys before we say goodnight. I have one question for you guys all to answer. I'll do a little goodbye poem and we'll give our little shout outs to thank you to Solar for putting this together. But I wanted to ask you ladies, you know, now you guys have, you've been in the game already, right? You guys have been doing your poetry, your writing thing. You guys have been moms for a while. So what's one piece of advice that you have for new moms out there that are poets? Um, give them a little glint of hope. What do you have for them? Anyone can go.
I try to sit back
Tough
because
question.
I'm such a big personality, loud. So I try to sit back, and then I'm like, maybe I should do something.
Come on, get the ball rolling, Johnny.
Just love yourself. Just love yourself. Writing and expression, when you're a creative spirit, that's self-love. So you're not taking anything away. When you're taking care of yourself, you are giving to your children. So take that time to write it down, and you don't have to. There's so many different ways to do it, right? So you have writing on the fly. We used to write on napkins, write on tissue. Mary mentioned, I would write it and let it go into the universe. Hold on to it. But right now, you're on the train, throw a little verse in the phone real quick. Whatever little thing comes to your mind. That when you have a little bit of time to yourself and everybody goes back to sleep, take that time for yourself. Even if it's just 1 hour,
Yeah.
it changes
Yeah.
everything.
It does. It makes a difference. Any other advice, ladies?
I think just give yourself permission. Just don't stop yourself. Just give yourself permission to be creative, to do what you want to do, despite like you're not taking something from your children. You're giving them a gift,
Yeah.
Yeah, and like just like finding time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is such a tough question for me. I would say just what everyone else is saying. Just share um, with your children as well, so they can learn to have a love for it as well, and just make it a family thing, family time together. We've lost so much of that, with everyone in so big of a rush all the time, and just make it a family thing.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's actually great advice. All three of you
Mm-hmm.
gave some beautiful advice, and that's all advice that people gave me when I was struggling with, should I pursue this poetry thing, or should I just like be a mom? you know. So thank you, ladies. I'm gonna share a poem.
Nice to meet you all as well.
Thank you. I'm going to share a poem, and then I would love for you ladies to let the audience know where they can find you and things like that before we say goodnight. And I wasn't sure what piece I was going to do, to be honest, because I was torn. But the piece that uh, Johnny did with the fiesta made me think about a piece that I wrote. And it's a piece titled Noche Buena, and I wrote it for a collaboration with a nonprofit organization called Off the Lane. They asked me to do a special piece for them. So this is my piece, Noche Buena. We never celebrated on Christmas Day. As Boricuas, we had to be different. Noche Buena was the evening of eves, and on a good night, frozen atoms fell onto apple trees. And I'll never know if it was the impatience to party or the eagerness to eat. Either way, we were always ready. Listening to salsa, merengue, and boleros while mommy adds a fifth layer of hairspray. Papi shaves his 5 o'clock shadow, and I peek at presents like pirates, impatiently predicting what precious prizes await. X marks the spot, but Xmas was never the X that I miss. See, a family about to gather nests meant I'd always have togetherness. Strong bonds built in broken homes. My titi was the root of our family tree, so we were always the ones grounded. And from the ground floor, we could smell her cooking. It continued to rise high like high rises in Long Island City, because the fourth floor of her apartment was no limit for her love to feed us. Pasteles, pernil, arroz con gandules, alcapurrias, washed down with some coquito, while all the tios played domino, matching shots like the numbers on the table. The matriarchs congregate in the kitchen, praising blessings over the stove and spilling all the bochinche tea. Children toy around with the ideas of tentative toys around the tree, staring at the clock, waiting for it to strike midnight. And if you stared long enough, you'd swear that minute hand went backwards. In the next room, cups are held in nervous teenage hands, eager to be grown, stashing liquor in their juice so the adults won't know, but they knew. Except this was the only night they let it slide like the sleds outside, knowing these times would subside like traditions slipping through the hands of time. Traditions falling victim to our division of minds, and now those traditions have transitioned into new paradigms. We've all grown up, and these are just memories in my timeline. And even with pride set to the side, we can't seem to find our way back to those memories in time. Shh. Do you hear that? There's voices in the wind. And if it's quiet enough, you can hear remnants of the guiro and congas playing in distant echoes with the family chanting, Que bonita bandera, que bonita bandera, que bonita bandera, la bandera puertorriqueña. That's my piece. Anybody else?
Yes.
Anybody
Thanks,
else?
family.
We must be all related.
Thanks, family.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Hold on, Phoenix. My son. Apparently, this is urgent. Anyway, thank you, ladies, so much. Please, I just want to go around. I'll start with Tina, then Mary, then Jani Rose. If you guys can just share where people can follow you and find your content if they want to connect with you.
I just have an Instagram, I guess. It's Tina Marie Dominguez. That's it.
Okay. You can on Instagram. You can find me at author poet Coffee Payne, and also at Coffee Payne Poems and More.
Ooh, and it's coffee spelled like Coffey, right?
Yes.
You can find me at Jani, JANI_Rose_poet. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Clubhouse. That's a little bit of everything.
She's on everything.
I'm on all of them.
All the platforms.
I just got a TikTok like 2 minutes ago.
Hey!
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna get
I
interesting.
can't wait to see that. Listen, I ventured into the world of TikTok last year during the lockdown, and my daughter, who's 15, and now she's, she was 14 at the time. She was like, "Who let you in TikTok? This is not for you." She's like, "Who allowed you in here?" I kept coming up on her friends like For You page. So her friends would send her like my TikTok and be like, "Your mom is a whole mood," and she's like, "Will you stop? Will you stop?" I'm like,
No, now we
maybe now because I'm more popular than you.
That's a good
Oh
time.
my gosh! But thank you, ladies, so much. Thank you for your art. Thank you for being amazing mothers and sharing your gift, not just the gift of your creativity, but the gift of just your experiences as mothers. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jose, and the Solatry squad for doing this. I appreciate you guys. I'm Jay Rose. You guys can connect with me on Instagram at my_crumbled_thoughts. I'm also in a lot of other places, but that's my main. That's the corner I really be at. The Instagram corner. That's my space. But yes, thank you. And those of you tuning in, if you really like this, please share it. Those of you that see this after the replay, please share. Let people know that we did this. Because we moms, we need to shine. Like we're superheroes here. That's right. So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Stay safe. Wear a mask. All that stuff. And happy Mother's Day to all.
Happy Mother's Day. I really enjoyed everybody's poems.
Blessings to everybody.
Blessings. Happy Mother's Day.
See you on the interwebs.